Welcome everyone back to the Carnivore Experience. My name is Bill,
I'm Wendy.
and today we are going to talk about the books that we recommend you purchase on your journey in the carnivore diet.
So the first book that we picked up was The Carnivore Diet by Dr. Shawn Baker. Dr. Shawn Baker was an orthopedic surgeon, and he was using the carnivore diet to heal his patients before putting them under the knife. And a lot of times they never did end up needing surgery. So he tells his story in this book, how that went over at the hospital. I found that rather interesting. But he also has in here kind of the history and the background on the whole theory of the carnivore diet, along with testimonies from several people who have healed autoimmune disorders such as Hashimoto's and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. There's also depression. What else? The symptoms from Lyme disease, things like that. So there's several people in here and their testimonies that you may find relevant and may even connect with your story. Bill?
My favorite book out of the entire batch is by Sally K. Norton, and it is called Toxic Superfoods. Everybody knows how much I love vegetables, which is not at all. And Toxic Superfoods, Sally explains how oxalates in our vegetables and several other substances are really doing us more harm than they're doing good. Those Brussels sprouts that everyone likes to cook and eat, lots of carcinogenics in those. And she talks about that in this book. You know, and she kind of steers you, she gives you a list of the really bad ones, as well as lists of somewhat good vegetables that you can eat. But for those that are doing Ketovore or strict keto, you know, this is a great book to understand that the type of vegetables that you're eating could be, causing you some inflammation, some bloating, and really not doing you a lot of good. So Toxic Superfoods by Sally Norton, excellent book.
Yeah. I just want to add that when you think about it, vegetables don't fill you up. So I've seen people just keep eating the vegetables, and the more that you put in, the more oxalates you're taking on. So Sally's done a great job in making lists of the low oxalate to the high. And so even if you decide to go Ketovore, where you want to keep some vegetables in, that would be a book you'd want to have on hand because it'll let you know exactly how many oxalates you're taking on with the vegetables you're choosing to eat.
Yep.
So that one I would definitely say is a must
Absolutely.
purchase. Yep. So the next book is on fasting. Fasting has an easy way and a hard way. And we've discovered this because we could never do it when we were eating, standard American diet. We were just eating crap. Let's just face it. So fasting becomes so much easier with carnivore because you're satiated all day long. This morning I ate my breakfast at 9 and you ate at
12:45.
12:45, and it's now about 6:30.
7 o'clock on
7
on
o'clock,
Monday,
and we're not hungry yet. So we're already in our fasting state, and by the time we eat breakfast tomorrow morning, it'll be 24 hours. But this book also lets you know that there's a certain way you need to handle fasting, and it really depends on each individual. So learning about fasting and handling it appropriately, breaking it the right way, those are all things that matter. So this is, again, another book. By the way, this is by Jason Fung, Dr. Jason Fung, and he appeared on the Fat Fiction documentary that we had mentioned in our first video.
Yep.
So if you haven't watched it, Fat Fiction documentary, it is a must watch in order to understand why we're doing the things that we're doing.
And in the carnivore way of eating, you'll find from time to time as you're losing weight, you'll stall, and it'll be a little bit.
Yeah.
That book on fasting teaches you how you can help break that stall and start losing weight again, as part of that regimen of getting healthier. So,
And
great
it
book.
helps a lot.
It really does.
And you just feel good.
So we talked about in a couple of videos ago about your blood work and how we recommended you get your blood work done. Well, an excellent book that highly recommend to understand is by Dr. Ken Berry. Now let me try to get this so that it's not going to be in both of our faces, and it's called Common Sense Blood Work. He breaks down all of the blood tests that you get ordered and breaks down those numbers and what they really mean. he goes over some of the myths, and he goes over how some doctors don't know how to read those right, or they don't have you get them at the right time. So the numbers that you're getting could actually be skewed. So Common Sense Labs is a great book to help get some understanding on how to do it right and understand what those numbers are actually saying.
And what's best for your health.
You bet.
Yep. So this book is the Carnivore Cookbook. Maria and Craig do a fantastic job teaching us how to cook carnivore. And when you first start out, what I noticed is it's almost like it teaches you to get rid of the old habits. It prevents you from going back to the old habits. So many times I wanted to grab things just out of a habit, and it wasn't something that needed to be in our kitchen either. The other thing that she does in here is, sauces are not necessarily a part of this diet, but she does have recipes in here for those sauce lovers, like for blue cheese dressing, hollandaise sauce, bone broth,
our favorite,
mayo, things like that. So if you're a person who needs to have a sauce, whether you need that wet with your food or whatever it is, she's got recipes in there for that is totally clean, and it's carnivore acceptable. So this is a great cookbook. It's the only one I know of actually for carnivore diet, but this is a must-have to get started and learn how to cook carnivore.
Lastly, for me, is a book by Dr. Paul Saladino called The Carnivore Code. He really takes you back and helps you understand how we started eating this way back in a primal way, and how it benefited us back then. And he details out how vegetables are not the same as they were many years ago. They've changed that through genetics and the chemicals and things like that on them, and just talks about how the Carnivore Code and the Carnivore Diet helps you overall, and explains why it benefits us over the standard American diet that people are really suffering from today.
Yeah. And in this cookbook too, I forgot about that, but in the cookbook, she has really some great information and even like a menu plan to kind of go off of. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the books, but those are the ones that we recommend. So yes. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and like and share the channel, and please share with your friends. You never know who's going to need it.
Thank you, everyone, for checking in again and watching our videos, and having a great day.
Yep. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.